Buenos días. Es el lunes, son las 12. Hello, everyone. It's 12 o'clock on Monday, and although it is Memorial Day, I'm still going live to give you a Spanish lesson as I do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon for our community Spanish lessons. In addition to our children's programming, which will be resuming as of tomorrow with children's French at 10:30, which happens every day, and children's Spanish every day at 11 o'clock. I hope you're having a good start to your week and enjoying this Memorial Day holiday. Our lesson for today, we're going to be looking at some things called possessive adjectives. It's a fancy grammar word for words like my, your, his, her, those kind of words. So I'm going to go into that and explain a little bit more how to use them in Spanish. And then, of course, we're going to practice together. Just wanted to mention at the start of the video, as I said, the different programming we have coming up. We also have, if you are interested in taking a class with us, our next round of classes are starting in June starting next week. So please feel free to check out our website for the upcoming schedules and different options and see if there's something that works well for you. And you can sign up there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me either on Facebook or on our website. We have the contact form so you can send me an email. Please like, comment, and share on the videos. Let us know what's working well. Let us know if there's anything else you want us to share to teach. We're happy to take requests. Otherwise, let's get to it. So as I said, today we'll be looking at the possessive adjectives. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see the information, and I'll walk you through it. And then after the video, we'll have up on the website, there'll be the video posted, but also we're going to have the some exercises to go along with it so you can practice a little bit more in addition to the videos of stuff we're doing together. But adjetivos posesivos are possessive adjectives. So first, just to say, what is that? Explain what this word is. So again, for those of you who are interested in a little bit of grammar background, so the word possessive, meaning showing who has something, okay? Who is the possessor, who's doing the possessing. An adjective means a describing word. So usually this word would describe a thing. So in this case, we're talking about words like my, your, his. So these words show possession of a thing. They describe a thing, who this thing belongs to. So let's take a look at some of the different examples in Spanish, and then of course we're going to practice together. So first we have the word that's equivalent to the my in English is mi in Spanish. Now the thing we have to keep in mind here is that we do have to be mindful in Spanish of if we're talking about the singular or the plural, talking about one thing or more than one thing, because if we are just describing one thing, we'll use a word like mi, okay? But if what we're describing is more than one, we'll use mis. And remember that we're talking about the number of the object, not of the number of people who are possessing it. So that's maybe potentially could be a little confusing. But remember that, again, the singular or plural has to do with the object describing, not the people who have it, okay? So mi or mis for something that means my in Spanish. Then next we have, if it's your thing, we use either tú or tus. Again, this would describe if the thing is more than one thing or more than one thing. So this one we use for if we address someone with tú, as in, and you'll see these actually the words are the same. So between tú and tú, we pronounce them the same. The difference is that tú with an accent mark on the you means you, like you, the person, okay? But if we say tú with no accent, although they sound the same in terms of the writing, there's that little difference just to distinguish between tú, you, and tú, like your, okay? Like these words we're looking at here. And I mentioned this also in one of my previous videos from last week about the difference between el and el. Both of them are pronounced exactly the same, but one of them with the accent written means he, and the other one without the accent written means the. So again, they both sound exactly the same, but we should just know when we write them, there are different spellings to make it clear about who or what we're talking about. And it's the same case with tú. So tú with an accent means you, and tú with no accent means your, and it describes a thing. So we can use either tú or tus. Now, for the next one we have this one is a little bit of a catch-all because it describes his or hers, or I should say his or her, or its. Again, if we're describing something that possesses something instead of a person that possesses something. So for example, we say like the car has I don't know, the car has something. The car is not a person, so we would use it in English, but in Spanish, everything has to have gender. So basically we're saying it's the equivalent in Spanish of saying either his or her. We would use su or sus if we're the object we're describing as plural. And also keep in mind, as we've done in many other videos, that this category of él and ella also has usted in it. So if we were saying your in a formal way, again, maybe if we're speaking to someone who we want to show respect, like for example, a boss or someone who is older than you, we would use usted. And then in that case, we would use su instead of tú to describe something that this person has. Okay, so just keep in mind that this category, that's why I said kind of a catch-all, because it covers his and her and its and also now your in a formal sense. So this is su or sus. I'm going to expand even further on that in a minute about how it's even more of a catch-all. Okay, now next we have for the, if we're going to say something is our, you know, it belongs to us, we use either nuestro or nuestra. So this one, we have to choose actually between not only the number, but the gender. Okay, so if we're the thing we're describing is masculine or feminine. Again, keeping in mind, we're talking about the gender of the object, not the person who possesses it. So it doesn't matter if the person who has it is male or female. It depends on what the object is, about if we choose nuestro or nuestra, and then for the plural, nuestros and nuestras. Okay, so there's 4 options for the way to say our in Spanish. Now, next we have for vosotros, it's a pretty similar case to what we just practiced with nosotros. So for example, if we want to say your, as in we're talking to a group, so it's all of you, it belongs to all of you, and we are in Spain, as we know from previous videos, we should use vosotros. And so similarly, we're going to use the word vuestro or vuestra or vuestros or vuestras to describe your if we're speaking to a group of people in Spain. So for example, if I'm in a classroom and I want to say everyone pass in your exams, then I'm going to use vuestros, like vuestros exámenes. I'm talking about you all as a group, your. And again, I'm in Spain, so I'm going to use vosotros. Now, the last category we have here is going to add even more to that catch-all group. So with su or sus is what we would use to translate there in English. So this one is for to say there, or for example, if we were also speaking to ustedes, as we would if we're speaking to a group of people outside of Spain. So if we're in Mexico or Colombia or any other country outside of Spain, we would address a group of people with ustedes instead of vosotros. So we should use also su and sus if we're speaking to ustedes. So that's why, again, this su and sus is really, again, I'm repeating myself again, but about the whole catch-all thing, because again, it means his, it means her, it means its, it means your in a formal you sense, it means their, or it also means you all, like you all, your. So this is really kind of, again, encompassing a lot of different people for su and sus. So that's when we'll maybe use the most. Okay. So again, for each of these, we have it is a singular and a plural form, and even for the nosotros and vosotros, we have an addition of choosing the gender, because the reason that happens is because the original ends with o. So that's something we can easily change to make masculine or feminine. But ones like me and then the tu and su, these ones, the endings are not so easy to change for masculine and feminine, so we don't really have to worry about that. But we do have to be mindful of it in the nosotros and vosotros forms. Okay, so those are all of those words. So let's look at some examples and then get to practicing. So we have some example sentences down the bottom of the page here. For example, busco mi sombrero. So I'm looking for my hat. Again, mi describing who it belongs to, and we have the singular because sombrero is singular. Ella busca su sombrero. She looks for her hat. Again, that all-encompassing su, meaning her in this case. Nuestro perro lleva un sombrero. Our dog wears a hat. Okay, so our, nuestro, and then we know it's masculine singular because perro is masculine singular, so that's why we say nuestro. Again, the gender not depending on the group of people who are doing the possessing, it's on the thing that is possessed, or in this case, it's a dog. Next one, nuestra gata no tiene sombrero. Our cat doesn't have a hat. So our cat, again, nuestra, we're choosing with a because gata is feminine singular, so that's why we're choosing the a ending on the end of nuestra. Okay, mira, tú tienes tu dinero y yo tengo mi dinero. So here we can see the difference in the writing between tú and tú. So we can see the first one, tú, with an accent, meaning you, again, you, the person. And then we have tú, the possessive adjective, meaning your here. And you can see the difference in the writing. Again, we pronounce them exactly the same, but in the writing, we're going to write them slightly differently to keep them distinct. So, mira, tú tienes tu dinero y yo tengo mi dinero. So, hey, it's like, hey, look, you have your money and I have my money. Okay. Next example, Clara y Miguel son muy simpáticos. Sus padres son españoles. Clara and Miguel are very nice. And then the next sentence, their parents are Spanish, from Spain. So sus, again, describes, now we're using the ellos form because it's Clara y Miguel, and we're choosing sus because padres is plural. Again, we're not choosing sus because Clara and Miguel are plural. We're choosing sus because padres is plural. Again, remembering just that the number depends on the object, just like the gender. It depends on the object being possessed, not on the person who has it. Okay. All right, last two examples. Nuestra casa es amarilla. Our house is yellow. So again, casa is feminine. So that's why we say nuestra. Okay. And vuestra idea es muy buena. Your, as in you all, your group, your idea is very good. And again, vuestra, because it's describing idea. And we're using singular because it's describing idea, not describing vosotros. All right, so let's get to our practice exercise. And then, as I said, later on, I'm going to post this video, but also post another exercise for you to practice on your own, another thing so you can see about how well you can use these on your own. So let's see if we can fill these out, and then we'll wrap up the video for today. Please feel free to write in the comments your answers if you want to participate in doing the exercise with me. All right, so this one we have a sentence, and so basically we have to put the right possessive adjective, and we have a little help on the side to let us know about who is the person doing the possessing in this case. So we're going to see if we can fill it out and see if we're starting to absorb these different words. So we have, for the first one, número uno, so we have yo as our helping person, and we have casa no tiene jardín. So house doesn't have a garden. So we want to say, if it's yo, it's I. So we're going to use the word that's the same as saying my, right? My house doesn't have a garden. So we know based on what we learned that if we're saying my, we have two options. It can be either mi or mis. Okay. Now, casa we know is just one casa. So we have to use the singular mi. Mi casa no tiene jardín. My house doesn't have a garden. Número dos. So we have él as our helpful word to know who is doing the possessing. And we have ojos son azules. Eyes are blue. Okay, so we have the help of él. So we know if it's él, we have two options, either su or sus. So then we have to look at what's the thing and say, is this thing one thing or more than one thing? So we can see it's ojos. So it's more than one thing. So we know that we have to choose the option sus, right? Because we have to make it agree with ojos. So we're saying his eyes are blue. Sus ojos son azules. Okay, número tres. Let's see what we can do. Número tres. We have, so nosotras, okay, so we have our helping person. We know who is doing the possessing. Nosotras, and then we have pelota es nueva. Ball is new, okay? So now we know for nosotros, we have four options of what we can use. Nuestro, nuestra, nuestros, or nuestras. So this one, we can see pelota is feminine, so we can eliminate nuestro and nuestros from our possibilities. So we know it can either be nuestra or nuestras. And so remember, what we're looking at is the number of the objects, not on the number of people who are possessing it. So the fact that this is nosotras doesn't tell us anything about if we should end the possessive adjective with an S or not. We should look at the word, in this case is pelota, to know that. And pelota is just one. So we know that we should use nuestra and not nuestras. Again, we only use nuestras if the object we're describing is more than one, not because there's more than one person in the group who is possessing it. So nuestra pelota es nueva. All right, número cuatro, we have ellas, okay, and we have novios son agradables, so like boyfriends or novios, sometimes we can translate it slightly different, but I think the easiest one to use for here is boyfriend. So boyfriends are pleasant. Okay, so we know that's ella, so we're trying to say like their, as in belonging to they, all a group of women, their boyfriends are pleasant. So again, with ellas, we know that our options either su or sus, and so we look at this word, we look at the word after. Oops, sorry, I already wrote it for you. But we look at the word after to know which one we should choose between su and sus, and we see it's novios, plural. So therefore, we should say sus. Sus novios son agradables. All right, número 5. We have zapatos están limpios. Shoes are clean. And we have tú as our helpful word to know who is doing the possessing. So we know if it has to do with tú, then we have two options, either tú or tus. So we should look at the word and we see it's zapatos. And so we know we should choose between tú and tus. We should choose tus, right? Because zapatos, plural. So we need the tus to also be plural. Tus zapatos están limpios. Your shoes are clean. All right. Número 6. So we have ella, okay, and then we have pueblo no tiene parque. Pueblo means a town, so town doesn't have a park. So we know it's ella, so we're trying to say her town doesn't have a park. So if it's ella, we know, again, we know back to our encompassing either su or sus option. And pueblo, we can see it's just one, so we should say su. Su pueblo no tiene parque. Her town doesn't have a park. Okay, número 7. Let's scroll down a little bit. Número 7. We have about 5 more to go. We have vosotras, okay, and we have coche no funciona, okay, coche no funciona. So we have vosotras, so we know that the option is either going to be vuestro, vuestra, vuestros, or vuestras. So we're going to choose, we know coche, as I did a video a little while ago on gender, we know that in general, words that end with e or English e are usually masculine. So if that's the case, if coche is masculine, so we can eliminate vuestra and vuestras from our options. So it's either going to be vuestro or vuestros. And again, coche, singular, so vuestro. Vuestro coche no funciona. All of you, your group, your car doesn't work. Uh-oh. Okay, número 8. So we have yo as our helpful possessor word. Hermano vive en Lugo. So hermano is brother. Brother lives in Lugo. So we see yo, so we know we're trying to say my brother lives in Lugo. So for my, we can choose mi or mis. And so what's it going to be? We have hermano, so mi, just one. My brother lives in Lugo. All right, 4 more. Nosotros. And we have madres no vienen. Madres, mothers, don't come, no vienen. Okay, so in nosotros, they belong to us, our mothers. Okay, so when we're saying our, we have 4 options: nuestro, nuestra, nuestros, nuestras. Okay, so now for madre, mother, feminine. Okay, so we can eliminate nuestro and nuestros from our options. So either nuestra or nuestras. Okay, we look at the word madres. So we should say nuestras, our, and nuestras has to agree with madres, plural. Okay. Número 10, 3 to go. Ellos, and then pueblo está muy lejos. So pueblo is town. So town is very far away. So we know that, again, with ellos, so we should use either su or sus. We have pueblo, so su. So their town is very far. So again, remembering that we shouldn't choose sus because it's they, plural, but we should choose su because we're describing the pueblo, not describing the people who own it. Or, well, they don't own the town, but you understand what I mean in terms of the possessive relationship. All right, 2 more to go. Ella. So ella, and we have respuestas son correctas. So answers are correct. So we know for ella, we can choose su or sus. And so what have we learned at this point? If we look at the word respuestas, we should choose sus because, again, the sus goes with respuestas. We're not choosing su because it's ella, because, again, we're not describing how many of her there are. It's just how many of the answers, and there's plural, so there's sus. All right, last one, vosotros, and then we have tías no llegan. So aunts, like the family relationship, your mother or father's sister, aunts don't arrive. Okay, and we have vosotros. So again, we know for vosotros, we actually have 4 options: vuestro, vuestra, vuestros, vuestras. Now we have tías. So again, we're going to eliminate masculine options. So no vuestro, no vuestros. And tías, So we know we should use the feminine plural option. So we're going to say vuestras. Vuestras tías no llegan. So your, as in you all, your aunts don't arrive. Okay. So hopefully that'll get your feet wet and get you a little bit more comfortable with the idea of these possessive adjectives. I made another video about possessive pronouns the other day. If you want to go one step further from these possessive adjectives, they kind of help build on each other. If you want to think about it in that way, help organize your brain in that sense. But so those videos are posted, so please feel free to watch the video again later if you want to get kind of another run through, go at your own pace. You also please feel free to check out the exercise I'm going to post on the website as a complement to this one to give you a little bit more practice with this concept. Otherwise, I will next be back on Wednesday at 12 for the next installment of Community Spanish this week. But coming back tomorrow on Tuesday, we'll have our children's programming restarted. So we'll have children's French at 10:30 and children's Spanish at 11. So I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the Memorial Day holiday, however it is that you will celebrate it. Gracias y adiós.